Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be sharing some of my homeschool favorites. We are nearing the end of the school year, and at this point I definitely have some favorite things that I have used throughout the year. I'm going to try to keep it to a small amount. I tried to narrow it down to 5 solid favorites, but I do have a few runner-ups that I could not leave out of this video. So hang tight. So also joining me today, I am doing this as a collaboration, are a few of my friends. So if you want to see some other ideas of homeschool favorites, you'll want to check out the ladies' channels down in the description below. So let's get started with some of my favorites from this school year. I am going to start right off the bat with, it's a very small thing, but in the world of organization for me, it has served very well. So it's a big thing for me. So we use All About Reading in our homeschool, and I guess you could say this is also a favorite because it works very well for us. I have a son who has dyslexia, and this has been excellent for him. But if you're familiar with All About Reading at all, you know there's a lot of pieces to it. So the student book is not much smaller than the actual teacher book, and it is full of pages that are actually not consumable. So if you use All About Reading, typically you're going to keep it in some sort of organizational system so you can use those student pages with another one of your kids later on if you decide to use it. So there are lots of ways that people organize all of the pieces for the student. So a lot of it involves cutting things apart, and there's like small pieces of paper to keep up with and stuff like that. A lot of people put them in binders, but for me, it made me kind of crazy because the pieces would fall out of the top of the page protectors and stuff like that, or you would have to put it in a bunch of Ziploc bags down in the, there's just a lot. So I actually thought, you know what, we're gonna give these a go. So I ordered a pack of these little plastic envelopes that have the little zipper on the top, and I label them by lesson. And so this is lessons 38 through 42. That's typically how I will do them. And then we just get these out of, I have a little organizer over here, the little drawer organizer. And so they're all in here. And what we do is when we finish one of these, we take the finished one, put it on the bottom of the stack, and then pull the next one from the top. So it has served so well to be able to, okay, this is my lesson groupings that we're working on right now. I'll put them back in this, and then it's just worked very, very well. So if you're looking for an organizational system for All About Reading, like I said, this has served us very, very well. It's definitely a favorite of mine for this school year, and I will continue to do it with level 4 of All About Reading as well. My next favorite is something that we found halfway through the school year for my oldest son that's in middle school, and I have talked about it a lot lately on my channel, but it is Redefining School. It is what he uses for literature and writing. So my son specifically uses the literature survey, and what that is each month they study a different author, that author's style of writing, and they will read some of the writing by that author, and then they themselves will then write in a similar style as the author they're studying. So we are doing the one for American literature this year, and we're going to continue it next year with world literature. Dr. Mindy Shermeyer is the mastermind behind it all, and she is just an amazing homeschool mom herself who has built this program very much out of love for it. And so she, at the beginning of the month, sends out an email with the packet to print out for the month, and it has weekly lessons that they go through. She has recorded lessons where they watch the initial lesson of the week, and then they have some activities they do throughout the week. There are 2 live classes a month The last live class that they do in the month is actually what they call an author's chair, and they do kind of like this coffee house kind of thing. My son usually gets hot chocolate or something like that and sits at the computer with his hot chocolate and a snack while they have their author's chair, which is an opportunity for them to discuss and share their writing together. So it's just been a really, really wonderful experience just to dive into great literature, but also with a worldview attached to it. And so that has been wonderful. So my next favorite, I'll go ahead and do another curriculum, and that is, no surprise here, it is Biblioplan, which is our history. I've done a lot of videos about Biblioplan and talked about it a lot here. If you've missed any of those videos, I'll link them down below. But this has really hit a sweet spot for us in our homeschool as far as history. It is excellently done. We have enjoyed it so much. Yeah, it's a great curriculum. The next thing on my favorites is actually a resource that I added for 2 of my children, and this is the Not Consumed reading journals. Now, they have actually redone these now. I bought these at our homeschool convention last year, and they redid them for this year, just right after I bought these. But they have been excellent. It is just a place where when they do their independent reading each day, then they are able to just reflect on it with these different prompts in the reading journal, and it has just created a great way for them to study literature independently and be able to reflect on what they're reading. So this is definitely a favorite for me, and I think my kids have really enjoyed it too, instead of using like really cumbersome literature guides. Although I could say another favorite would be the literature guide that we tried from Where Do You Learn That this year, from Rachel from 7 and All. She has a curriculum company called Where Do You Learn That, and she has some amazing literature guides. We used one of them this year, and I've already printed out 2 more that we're going to use for the next year for some read alouds we're doing. So, or well, independent reads that my kids will be doing. So that kind of goes along with this though. So I kind of cheated and slipped another favorite in there. Okay, so the next one is going to be a school supply upgrade. At least that's what I like to call it. And it is this spinner. So I just got this off of Amazon. I just wanted something that I could sit in the middle of the table and that we could take out. So like if we just need to use pencils, or somebody needs to grab the colored pencils or whatever, the glue, the scissors, they're all in this, and it also spins. And this has been probably one of my favorite like school supply-ish things that we have added really in the past couple of years. So this is definitely a favorite. I have absolutely loved this. It has worked well. All right, so I'm going to talk about a couple more things. These are going to kind of be my runner-ups because I've actually lost count of how many things I've shared with you guys. I think I'm technically at 5 now because I cheated and slipped this one in there and talked about all about reading as well instead of just the little containers. But this is, again, a favorite of mine, and I actually have done a video called Our Favorite Math Curriculum, and this is it. But it is Christian Light Math. It has just continued to serve us so well this year. All of my kids, every type of learner, it has just been an excellent math choice for our family once again. And so I have a feeling this is probably going to be in the top for me all the time. But yeah, Christian Light Math is excellent, again, with all of my learners. All right, and the last one I'm going to talk about, actually, no, I'm going to talk about 2 more. Another one would be, speaking of Christian Light education, the Kindergarten 2 has been just a really sweet, once again, I've used it in the past with my kids, but the Kindergarten 2 series has been just so sweet to use with my kindergartner this year, and it's just similar in style. It comes in like these little workbooks like this, which my kindergartner loves having some type of little worksheet without it being really overwhelming. She really enjoys having like a little worksheet to do where she colors certain things or practices writing her letters and numbers and counting and all of those things. It's just a really sweet introduction to kindergarten. And so if you're looking for something to ease into kindergarten, I would highly recommend Christian Light Education Kindergarten 2. Again, because it's just super sweet. It's a great way to ease into things, especially if you aren't ready to start like a full-on reading program yet and you want to ease into that. It is a great one to use. So I would say that it's a favorite, or at least a runner-up, if I have to choose a runner-up instead of a favorite. And then the last thing I want to talk about is another resource that we have really enjoyed this year. It is one that I've wanted to add for a while, but for whatever reason just have put it off, and I'm glad that I ended up doing it on Black Friday, and that is World Watch News. Now, if you have younger kids, it may not be a good fit for you quite yet, because it is sharing news around the world, and it is from a biblical worldview perspective, and so it is going to share what is happening in the news, but they do an amazing job of navigating it with that Christian worldview as they report it, but also reporting it as news as well. And so it has been a great addition for us just to sit down, see the current events, see what's going on around the world, but also hear some really amazing stories as well, and get it all from that Christian worldview perspective. Those are my favorites and my runner-ups to my favorites. Make sure you check out the other ladies' videos in the description, and I will see you guys on future videos. Thanks so much, guys, and have a blessed day.